Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. It is 8:59, so we'll give everyone till 9 o'clock and then we'll get started here. Hope everyone's having a good morning this morning. And I see people joining here, so we're going to get started in just a second. And it is 9 o'clock, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Christina Schaefer. I am an instructor for HAR as well as the social media manager for HAR. Sorry about that. I see people joining here, so just want to make sure alrighty. So we're going to be talking today about Matrix. So our Member Focus Mondays, we've been talking about a lot of different topics over the last several weeks, but today we want to direct our focus to Matrix. And today we're actually talking about 3 secrets, quote unquote secrets, in Matrix that can save you time. I put the secrets in quotes because we obviously don't want these to be secrets. We want you to know about them. We want you to share this information with other people, but they really can save you time in Matrix. So that's what we're going to be focused on this morning. So we will go ahead and get started with our quote-unquote secrets in Matrix that can save you time. So the first one I wanted to talk about with you guys, 2 of these are actually hidden in plain sight, if you will, and they're very common questions that we get from our membership, and these 2 tools can really help with these questions that we get. Starting with first of all, recent searches. Okay, if you haven't noticed recent searches up here in the top right hand corner, if you click on that little drop down arrow, you'll see up to the last 50 searches that you've run in the past week. Okay, so up to the last 50 searches you've run in the past week. Now, why is this helpful? Well, as soon as I hit the search button, as soon as I run a search, Matrix has basically logged that. So if I, maybe get interrupted, I have to stop and work on something else, and then I want to come back to what I was doing, I can just, instead of going into search and rerunning the search all over again, I can just go up to recent searches, click right there, and pull it back up. So the other day I was working on a CMA. This was actually last Tuesday. I was working on a CMA, and here are the comps that I found. Here's the properties that I returned in my results, right? So it's really, really helpful because even days later at this point, I still have my search right here. If I wanted to go back and modify the criteria, I can very easily click criteria and do that. Or if I wanted to go over to the map now and maybe use some of the map tools to modify this, I can do that as well. So it's really helpful that recent searches is just logging those searches as you go. I see Demetria put she can see the screen but can't hear anything. If somebody could tell her to click on it. Sometimes you have to click on the little audio button, but I know our audio is working. If somebody doesn't mind doing that for me, that'd be really helpful. Alrighty, so again, recent searches shows you up to the last 50 searches that you've run in the past week. I'm going to click view all just so you can see, and again, it will show you up to 50. I have 17 here. Last year when we were, I personally was teaching Matrix classes almost every single day. I can tell you that in running those searches every single day, it would take me about a week to hit 50 searches. So typically you're going to have a week's worth of searches here. So this is really, really helpful. And again, it remembers that information. I can go and just click on any of these searches and pull that information up very easily. So recent searches, never again, when you get distracted or pulled away, will you have to go click click on the search you're trying to run, re-enter the criteria. Never ever do that again. Remember, you have recent searches up in the top right-hand corner to save you time, okay? So that's the first quote-unquote secret, if you will, that I wanted to share with you to save you time. And the reason I wanted to share that is because a lot of times we might have members ask, about opening a second window to run a search and think, can you do that? And Sometimes people encounter errors when they do that. And so really, this is the best practice. Go to recent searches, and I can very easily toggle between searches right there. Okay, so recent searches is our first secret. Second secret I want to cover with you guys. Again, this one's also kind of hidden in plain sight. If you see right here in the center of my screen, this little search bar, okay? This, and thank you, Danny. I see you're trying to help Demetria there. I appreciate that. This search bar right here, this is actually called your speed bar, okay? Now, there's a couple reasons it's called the speed bar. I can show you basically the most advanced things you can do with it, but let's start with the most basic and one of the most common questions that I get and that we hear from our members. And that is, where can I just go into Matrix and type in an MLS number, or where can I just go in and type in a property address and return a search? Right? Very common question, and really it's something that you do need to do on a regular basis, and that right here can be accomplished very easily in the speed bar. Okay, so with the speed bar, I can type in an MLS number. I can type in a set of MLS numbers. Okay, I just separate those with I separate those with a space, not a comma, but I can type in multiple MLS numbers. Okay, or I can type in a street number and street name, and it's going to return that that property for me. Now, here's the common mistake people make with this. We say street number, street name, but they hear address. So they'll say, oh, okay, I'm looking for 123 Main Street, and that's in Houston, Texas, 77027, and they're going to return errors because this is not made to do a full address. It's made to do a street number, street name, similar to when you're searching tax records, okay? So in this page, I'm going to do 109 Raven Knoll. And when I hit, now it's the actual address is 109 Raven Knoll Court in League City, Texas, 77573, but I'm not putting all of that in. I'm just putting 109 Raven Knoll, and there we go. I'm going to return the results. Now, had I put in 109 Raven Knoll Court, I would get an error, okay? Because we do not put the street suffix in here. We only put street name, okay? So a lot of times we might have members say, well, I'm trying to use a speed bar, but I'm putting in, 324 Bay Park Lane, and it's not working, and the problem is that lane is the suffix. Or maybe it's actually Bay Park, and park is the suffix. A lot of times we may have suffixes that aren't as obvious, like street or drive or boulevard. They may be a little more, a little different than the usual suffixes. So the best practice on this, if I were to put in 109 Raven Knoll Court, not realizing that that is a suffix, and notice now it found nothing. If I put in 109 Raven Knoll Court, not realizing that's a suffix, all I need to do, and what I would suggest that you do, is delete. If it's a multiple word street, just delete the last word, because chances are that's a suffix, and try again, and there I have my results. Okay, so I see a couple people saying that it's out of focus. It's clear on my end. That has to do with your internet connectivity, your internet speed. So if you're having difficulty, you might want to try to get off of Wi-Fi. If you're on a Wi-Fi, that Wi-Fi may be too slow. So that might be the problem there. So, but other people saying they're still able to see. So, and somebody else said try adjusting your quality settings. That might work as well. Alrighty. So the first secret was recent searches. Second quote unquote secret was our speed bar here. And remember, it works for street number, street name, but it also works for MLS number. So if I just typed in an MLS number there, it will also return the appropriate results. Okay, so that is our second secret. Now, there are other things you can do with the speed bar, and I would encourage you to check these out. If you see when I hover my mouse over the question mark on the speed bar, it says click for speed bar search samples. There are a lot of other things you can do with the speed bar, and you see some examples of that there. I can actually type in search criteria into the speed bar, and that will return as well. Kay is asking, will it work for subdivision names? On the subdivision names, it's not one of the default settings. In the Matrix Part 2 customization class, we teach you how to create your own speed bar shortcuts as well. So that is definitely one you can do, is create one for different subdivisions that you want to run. And Deanna said, I've noticed streets for multiple words do not come up. For example, 1199 White Oak Path doesn't come up. Yeah, so again, best practice there is to not use all of the words, because chances are one of them is a street suffix. So let me just try the example that she brought up, 11991 White Oak Path, and I'm guessing that path is probably a suffix in this case. So if I just take that off, and actually it looks like it just wants that. So yeah, you can kind of play with it. It really just depends on how it was entered into the MLS, how the listing agent put in the suffix and things like that. So best practice, if it's a multiple word street, is just to delete, one word, or in this case 2 words, and it'll come up for you very easily, and you can find it right there. So yes, thank you for that other example. Okay. So Nicole asked, if it is separated and we don't separate the address or vice versa, will it still come up? I'm guessing you mean if they put like White Oak as 1 word or White Oak as 2 words. If that's not what you mean, then please clarify. But no, it kind of needs to know what you put in. So if I try to do White Oak, it's probably not going to work, right? Because it actually is 2. If that's not what you meant, please type it in again or clarify for me if you don't mind. And I did see somebody asked about the volume on the recent searches. It is 1 week, up to 1 week, or 50 searches. So if you need to keep it beyond that, best practice would be to save that search, right? So if I, just like we could do in previous MLS platforms, you can save your searches. So down here at the bottom, I can hit save, new save search. So if you do need to save it, that's how you would do it. But if this is really more of a backup, in the case of I didn't get a chance to save it, I forgot to save it, I got distracted and wasn't able to save it, that kind of thing, recent searches kind of has it there for you as a backup. Okay. All right. So I see. Okay, yeah, so Nicole, you're asking Raven Knoll versus Raven Knoll 1 word. Yeah, so it does need to know what the actual street address is. And again, unfortunately, sometimes that's dependent on the listing agent. Like I used the example of Raven Knoll, and that is 1 word. But if the, whoops, I think I did something wrong there. But if the listing agent put it in 109 Raven Knoll, or I typed it in 2 words like that, it's not going to recognize that, right? So, okay. So someone said they missed the first secret. Now, Lori, I'll just tell you really quick. It was recent searches. It shows you up to the last 50 searches. Once we finish this, it will post as a video, so you can rewatch from the very beginning. But this was the first quote-unquote secret, if you will, was recent searches that shows you up to the last 50 searches that you've run in the past week. All right, so now we're on to secret number 3. So moving over to my matrix, and we're going to go down to settings. So a common thing, a common question that I get, actually before I get into that, a common question that I do get is about when you set up auto email. Now, hopefully all of you know about auto email. We have different tutorial videos and things like that to teach you how to use auto email if you've never used it before. But what auto email does, it allows you to take your client's criteria, put it into the system, and it will notify your client whenever there's something new or updated that matches that client's criteria. Now, when I do that, my client obviously gets an email notification. I can be carbon copied on that email, letting me know that there was something that matched their criteria. But maybe you know, they went in and they marked a favorite on it, or they made a comment or something like that. Well, when I log into Matrix, if you see over here on the right-hand side, I have recent portal visitors. You all should have this widget on your home screen of Matrix somewhere. It may be in a different place than mine is in because these are, you know, customizable. You can move these around. But recent portal visitors, this is basically going to tell me, you know, who visited their portal recently. So I see just yesterday that this client, this is actually me, marked this property as a possibility. Okay, that's what that little light bulb means. Now, instead of me having to log into Matrix to see if they've marked a favorite, if they've made notes, if they've done a possibility or something like that, I can actually get an email or a text message letting me know about that. Okay, so if you go up to My Matrix, go down to Settings, and scroll down there. It's the very last option under your settings. We see Portal Notification Settings. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that this is here, but it's meant to help you. So if I set up an auto email, my clients getting those, you know, emails, you know, with the properties that match their criteria, I get notified as well about the properties, but maybe I want to get notified when they mark a favorite or when they make notes or things like that. So you can actually come in here and get an email notification, a text message notification, or just a daily summary email. Maybe they visited their portal. I'd just like to see that maybe once a day. But if they made notes, maybe I want a text message of that because I want to be, you know, really proactive and, you know, see what they wrote and be able to reply quickly. So again, My Matrix settings, portal notification settings, I would strongly recommend that you guys come in here and set this up so that you start getting notified when your clients make any of those, you know, make any of those changes on the portal, mark favorites, make notes, things, and maybe even prepare your client for it. Say, hey, I'm setting up this portal for you. If you see a property you really like and you want to set up an appointment, mark it as a favorite. If you have questions about a property, make notes, right? Let them know that they can do this. And this really opens up the line of communication between you and that client. But on your end, maybe I get a text message notification of those things because I've told them, hey, if you mark a favorite, that means you want to set up an appointment, right? So I want to get a text message so I know about it right away. Or maybe I don't tell them that and I just get an email or whatever the case is. So again, My Matrix settings, portal notification settings, if you are using auto email, which I strongly recommend that you all do use auto email, if you are using auto email, then this is going to be your best friend because it's going to help you stay in communication and know when your client's making changes on their portal, okay? All right, so let me kind of scroll back here to see. I know we had a couple questions pop up. All right, how do I add market area like you have? I think you are talking about on the grid here. We teach you guys how to do this in the Matrix Part 2 customization class. So if you haven't taken that, you can actually customize this grid here and add fields, remove fields, change the lines per page. You can see I actually have schools added on here and things like that. So we teach you how to do this in the Matrix Part 2 class. But just really quickly, if you see where I have my mouse right over the top of one of those columns, if I click there, you'll see remove column, insert column. So I just inserted market area to answer your question there, Carly. And good eye, you caught that pretty quickly. Okay, Stephen asked, why did they take away the flooded and Harvey category? They added that as a temporary search. It was added, was it flooded and Harvey, yes or no? That was, the board of directors voted to make that a temporary field right after Harvey. That was actually removed on December 31st, so it's been gone for a very long time. If you're looking for flooded, not flooded, that's something you might need to check the remarks, check the seller's disclosures, things like that to find that. But that was always intended to be a temporary field. All right, I'm going to double check one last time to make sure there weren't any questions I missed. Hopefully everybody that was having difficulty hearing was able to hear and see. And again, these videos are always posted after the fact. You can rewatch them. And for those of you that said it was out of focus, that might have been just a network issue on your end or a Wi-Fi issue if it was going slow. They will again be posted as videos from the very beginning, so you can rewatch and see it more clearly. Okay, so how do you remove the auto email? So again, this is something you definitely want to go back and watch the auto email videos or take a class for that. But turning off an auto email, if I go to My Matrix Auto Emails, I can find my auto email there, go to settings, and I can actually disable it from right there. So Steven said agent remarks are not reliable. Seller's disclosures should be, though. So we should definitely check those seller's disclosures as well. Is there a way to tell if someone searches your portal from the internet in general? They can't actually get to your portal from the internet in general. They can only get to those portals if you create a portal for that client. Okay. Lori said she loves secret number 3. And again, excuse me, I labeled this 3 matrix secrets, but obviously we don't want these things to be a secret. So, you know, if there are other people that you know would benefit from hearing this, please tell them and let them know as well. Can the one living area be added as a search option like it was in Tempo? I think that is still an option. You might just have to add a field for that. You know, we have these room types and things like that as well. So we have a lot of different options on that. Lori said, where do we find the videos? So after we are done here, actually, Danny just answered the question. He beat me to it. Yeah, so on HAR's Facebook page, under the video section, you'll be able to rewatch this from the very beginning as soon as we finish. All right, and that looks like all the questions, and a couple people saying hi, good morning. Thank you all for joining for another Member Focus Monday. I hope you enjoyed this. Now, after we finish here, if you stay till the very end, you'll see a little option to actually subscribe to HAR's live videos. I would encourage you to do that so you get notified when we do post these live videos, when we do go live. I had a lot of people messaging me before we started asking how do they join. I would encourage you to please subscribe so you get notified in the future. Oh, you just heard the recap. All right, so thank you all for joining. I hope you have a great Monday. And again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our MLS Quality Assurance Department. I'm also going to put my email address on the screen really quick for you guys. If you have specific questions for me or suggestions for other things you'd like to see on Member Focus Monday, please send those my way. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.